ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਡਿਪਟੀ ਪ੍ਰੀਮੀਅਰ ਤੇ ਸਿਹਤ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਸਿਲਵੀਆ ਨੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਸੂਬੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੈਰਾਮੈਡਿਕਸ ਦੁਆਰਾ ਦਰਪੇਸ਼ ਸਿਹਤ ਅਤੇ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਜ਼ੋਖਮਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਨਵੇਂ ਉਪਾਵਾਂ ਦਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਅੰਟਾਰੀਓ ਦੇ ਪੈਰਾਮੈਡਿਕਸ ਇੱਕ ਵਧੇਰੇ ਸੁਵਿਧਾਜਨਕ ਜੁੜੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਣਾਲੀ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੇ ਕੀਮਤੀ ਹਿੱਸੇਦਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਨ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੂਰੇ ਸੂਬੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖਭਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਾਰੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਇਹ ਨਵੀਂ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਯਕੀਨੀ ਬਣਾਏਗੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਪੈਰਾਡੈਮਿਕਸ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਰਥਨ ਅਤੇ ਸੁਰੱਖਿਆ ਮਿਲੇ ਜਿਸ ਦੇ ਉਹ ਹੱਕਦਾਰ ਨੇ।
Whether you are responding to calls on the front lines in your community or in someone's home, paramedics have been and continue to be a critical part of our healthcare system, saving lives and quickly responding to calls to care for some of Ontario's most vulnerable citizens. And we want you to know that your government has your back. In partnership with paramedics, we have expanded the 911 models of care to provide more appropriate care to people in their homes and in community, including those in need of palliative care or mental health. When we continue to invest in the dedicated offload nursing program, we know this is allowing paramedics to get back into community faster and respond to more calls. We know that working in healthcare, especially throughout the pandemic, has been both challenging and rewarding. We must continue to ensure that our healthcare workers feel supported so that they can continue to care for Ontarians each and every day. Again, I want to thank all Ontario paramedics as we work together to help connect Ontarians to more convenient care closer to home. Well, you know, what we saw during both Ottawa and Windsor is police services and OPP, of course, coming together to help those two communities in need. You know, I often talked while the Ottawa was happening was, in fact, we had police officers being redeployed from OPP detachments across Ontario. Under the leadership of Commissioner Creek, there were literally weekly briefings with police chiefs from across Ontario as they found intelligence reports, making sure that all of our police services were aware and informed. And, you know, when Toronto Police Services, when Windsor Police Services, when services and officers from London, York, all over Ontario were coming into those communities and assisting the local, in that case, Ottawa Police Services, it really spoke to the fact that people were stepping up and assisting. As you know, I had many conversations with my federal counterparts. We made sure that any assistance that Ottawa and Windsor ultimately needed or asked for was there from the provincial government. Thank you.
So the report says Ontario should consider establishing a major event management coordinator to help police better deal with the protests across jurisdictions. Will you?
So I think it's also important to remember that Ontario has and continues to have a very robust provincial emergency operations centre. That information and that knowledge was part of what was happening as we learned or had intelligence gathered from the OPP in particular. We know that there are some lessons learned. I would remind that we also put in some legislation to better protect Ontario and Ontario citizens and communities